Hello, I'm Tiffany Ryder, and welcome to this week's edition of Beach News. Our top stories include a trip through Long Beach by President Barack Obama. The Daily 49er was there to catch it all on video. Also featured is a look into iTunes University. It's an online tool that helps students carry on their education at home. We'll also show you why so many people were dancing in the pyramid over the weekend. And we'll give you a recap of Long Beach State sports. But first, President Barack Obama, codenamed Renegade by the Secret Service, was the spectacle of Long Beach Airport last Wednesday. Erin McKenzie has the story.
President Barack Obama landed at Long Beach Airport to kick off his two-day visit to Southern California. Security remained on the lookout for the president, with snipers on rooftops and Secret Service patrolling the area. Media covering the president had to go through a thorough security check. At one point, we were confined to a room as an armed agent secured the door. Meanwhile, our baggage was left outside as it was checked by security personnel. Afterwards, reporters were escorted via shuttle to the landing area of Air Force One. The weather was warm as the sky was calm, as the president's plane arrived right on time at around 3 p.m. After being grounded for about 4 minutes, President Obama came out of Air Force One and waved to reporters. He then made his way to Marine One and left. During his stay in California, the president made a stop in Orange County and an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. The president had quite a crowd of people to send him off. About 40 people gathered in just one parking lot.
I saw the plane land and I wanted my daughter to at least take off. We were able to see the helicopters yesterday flying around, so I think it's important for her to see that.
We found out that Obama landed here, and then we found out that he was taking off today at 6, so it was like, okay, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go.
Unfortunately for some, Air Force One took off as they arrived. For the Daily 49er, this is Erin McKenzie.
Underrepresented students are getting some assistance. A meeting was held on March 13th to teach faculty about the experiences of undocumented students, commonly known as AB 540 students.
These people need allies. They do have problems facing a huge bureaucracy with fewer resources than most students have. I'm happy to make myself feel better by doing this.
Those who completed the 4-hour training earned a sticker to place on their office doors to show support. And Long Beach State Latinas came together in the name of education last week. The 8th annual Latina Connection Conference was designed for students to take responsibility for their education. Those attending the event were asked to close their eyes and focus on a goal they wanted to accomplish. They were later asked to write down those goals. Organizers wanted to bring Latina students closer together as a family to focus on their academic studies and help connect with faculty and staff. Soon Beach students will be able to get an education through their earbuds. Marisol Aguilar has more.
Students may soon be able to hear their class lectures straight from their computers, courtesy of iTunes. Long Beach State has joined iTunes U. It's a collection of video and audio podcasts made by professors. Whether to learn music or chemistry, students can freely view the podcast to enhance in-class instruction. One music professor has uploaded 6 podcasts on iTunes. This has helped her students become more involved in her class.
After this happened, more people came to class. I think that they understood what the topic I was trying to express. So when they came to class, they could actually participate.
The podcasts also come with transcripts to help students with hearing disabilities.
The podcasts that are being put in place are done in such a way as to be accessible to as many people as possible.
Currently, the podcast cannot be accessed from the iTunes U directory.
They want at least what they refer to as 100 quality audio or video episodes. We have about 80 right now.
Students can still access some podcasts by entering CSULB on the search bar in the iTunes Store. They can also enter this URL in the address bar. Eventually, Beachport will have a link to podcast on iTunes U. This will happen when Angel Learning Management System replaces Blackboard in 2010. Reporting for Beach News, this is Marisol Aguilar.
The fish are back. Earlier this semester, we reported that 300 koi fish had died at the Japanese garden. However, garden officials say that the loss of fish has not hurt attendance. Part of the reason, they say, is because of visits from grade school students.
We've been putting on programs for fourth graders. That's been going on for the last month. None of that has diminished. In fact, that all seems to be, bigger than ever.
Who Says Creativity ends with youth? Students as old as 70 showcased this art on Sunday. The show was hosted by Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, an educational organization for senior citizens. Fraternities and sororities came to Long Beach State to step it out. Christina Ramos was there to cover the event.
Step teams from as far as New York and Virginia traveled to the Pyramid to compete at the 19th annual Pan-Hellenic Council Step Show. It's the largest collegiate step show on the West Coast that's made up of African-American Greek chapters. The show included teams competing for first place and a cash prize of $2,500.
Basically, it's a dance competition from fraternities and sororities that are part of the Divine Nine, which is the National Pan-Hellenic Council.
Each team incorporated creativity and themes into their performances with elaborate costumes and props. They showcased their chants, stepping ability, and dance coordination to recent and old school music. Participants were judged by execution, creativity, overall theme, and crowd enthusiasm.
Everyone is upbeat, everyone's having fun, enjoying themselves. No one is just sitting still.
The theme of this year's show revolves around change and the recent election of President Obama. The performances on stage encourage education, technology, and treating women with respect. The show is also involved with a high school outreach program called Step Into the Beach. The Long Beach State program offered workshops the morning of the show on college preparedness and the application process. Students who attended the workshops were given free tickets to the event.
We figured this event gets a lot of attention and brings a lot of notoriety to the campus, so we've used the momentum to do outreach programs to high school students.
Nearly 4,000 people attended the event hosted by Long Beach State alumnus and radio personality Chuck Dizzle of K-Day 93.5. A portion of the proceeds from the event will go towards scholarships for Long Beach State students. Reporting for Beach News, this is Christina Ramos.
Now for some sports. Tracy McDonald has the report.
The Long Beach State women's tennis team faced the Denver Pioneers on Saturday. This was the team's third match in the span of 4 days. 49ers lost number 2 in 3 doubles. This gave the Pioneers a 1-point lead. Singles competition didn't get any better. The Beach lost number 2 singles by scores of 6-1, 6-1, and number 6 singles by 6-2 and 6-3. Denver locked it up in the number 1 singles match with scores of 6-4 and 6-3. Long Beach State's women's water polo team faced Cal State Bakersfield on Sunday. 49ers came out on top, beating Bakersfield 8-6. The ladies host Stanford this Saturday. Stanford is the number 1 water polo team in the nation. The Dirtbags wrapped up their 3-game series with Wichita State on Sunday. Long Beach State nearly got shut out as they lost 6-1. That ended the series with 1 win and 2 losses for the Dirtbags, who are now 7-11 on the season. In other sports news, the Niners women's softball team got swept over the weekend by defending national champion Arizona State. They are now 19-13 on the season. Meanwhile, men's volleyball lost to the BYU Cougars on Saturday. There was one bright spot for Long Beach State, as Dean Bittner had a career high of 42 kills. And that ends this week's sports report.
Last Thursday marked the 6th anniversary of the U.S.-led Operation Iraqi Freedom. The latest death toll for the U.S. is 4,260 servicemen and women. Another 318 of the coalition have died. Estimates of the number of dead Iraqi military personnel and civilians vary. Some put the number as high as 1 million. More than 130,000 U.S. servicemen and women remain in Iraq. More are expected to leave by summer 2010. That ends this week's edition of Beach News. Please watch us again on daily49er.com after next week's spring break. From the Daily 49er newsroom, this is Tiffany Ryder.